beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of The Bloom Podcast, where we discuss everything self development, wellness, and evolution. In this first season, we'll be highlighting some of Houston's greatest, most impactful women that are out here killing it, all while serving their purpose. We're going into the third episode now, and I would love to introduce to y'all Miss DJ Savage.
What's up? How are you, girl?
I'm good. How are you feeling today? How's your energy?
Energy is high because it's my off day. I didn't expect to have Saturday off, but I'm gonna enjoy it because it never happened. So I'm in a good mood right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to be off on a Saturday, but I believe in alignment, and I know I told you that the last time I seen you. So yeah, you're meant to be here today.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yes. So I always like to start off talking about how we met and how we know each other, like with the guests that come on, because this first season I handpicked girls that I've either already have a relationship with, I've been following for a while, I'm interested in wanting to actually get to know them a little bit better. So it's a little more intimate, personal for me. So yeah, how we met, you can go into it or I can go into it.
I definitely remember it was through Tay.
Yes.
And I knew her just from like seeing her out and about, or maybe something school related. And we didn't go to the same school, but I did a lot of stuff with like TSU and stuff like that. And so I saw that you guys were close, and then you guys were throwing events, and I think you guys booked me for a few of your events. And then at those events, that's when I met you, and then that's when I figured out you guys are best friends. And then from what I remember, we've just, been following each other and kept in contact and been supportive of each other since, then.
That's exactly how we met. Okay, so Air May concert, I seen that you were going, and I was like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. Like, I know I texted, I was like, shut the fuck up. I sent it to my best friend, and I was like, she's gonna be there. And then I was like, I have to go say hey. But yeah, tell us how that came about, and what was your experience like at his concert?
Well, I had a great time, first and foremost.
Yes.
I have worked with artists before, but it's been mostly like, little club appearances and stuff like that, and just doing what I do from the booth, which really isn't super different from, just me already DJing, regular set. But I haven't had the opportunity to do a concert like that from start to finish, like fully hosting and like really controlling the flow of the event. And it was a lot of kids in there.
Yes.
And I was so nervous. I had my shades on purposely because it gives me that separation so that I won't like burst into like 1,000 pieces from nervousness. And it just helped me to like stay calm. But they seemed like they were really into it. I accidentally got some sort of mosh going.
Yes, you did.
It was like, I was like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I try not to show it, but on the inside, I was like, am I really the one doing this? It's like I was having an outer body experience. Wow. And it went really smoothly. And Aaron was great to work with. The artists that he showcased were great. Everyone had great music. I got a lot of DMs from people at the concert. I don't even remember giving any of my information. Somehow a lot of them found me and DM'd me.
Oh wow.
I shared one from a girl that said she had never seen a female concert DJ, and she was impressed and wanted to see more of me, which was like I was like, life made, you know?
Yes. I actually had that comment on here. I want to read it. It says, first female DJ I've gotten to experience out of all the concerts I've been to, and hope to see more of it. You killed it, Fire Flames.
It was nice to be their introduction into learning more about female DJs.
Yes.
Because I still get really confused when people say that they've never seen, because I know so many, it seems. I mean, of course, I don't pretend to not know that it's a male-dominated industry being a DJ, but there is a really huge community of female DJs. And maybe because I am one, I know how many they really are. But I guess if you're not one, then you wouldn't remember seeing or meeting so many, because we don't really DJ on high levels like men do. Right. So that part probably is, a little bit more uncommon, but there are a lot of us. So yes. I don't know,
Especially in
but
Houston. I've seen a lot more of them in Houston.
yeah.
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 Maybe because they were younger and they don't get to go to clubs. Maybe that's
Yeah,
one.
but I see a lot of like adults, like when I DJ at Prospect Park, they always come to the booth and just stare at me in like a weird Norman Bates type of way. And it's just like, why are you staring at me? And it's so weird. And I try not to make eye contact. And it's just like, this is a grown man looking at me and I don't know what to do. And I'm working. And so I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe he's either going to put something in a tip jar, request a song, or walk away.
Yeah.
And then he comes up to me in like a creepy way. I've never seen a female DJ. You did all of this
Just
because
to
of
say
that.
that, that's crazy.
And I know you have. It's a lot of us, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just it baffles me because I know so many, but yeah.
Yeah. I love to see it though. Like I know every time I see you, I'm always like, I gotta go say hey, let me bring her a shot. I've learned to not request music. The only thing I'll probably go ask is like, can you just do a birthday shout out? But
Yeah.
requesting music, I know is like a no. And even the birthday shout out, they're like, oh, like I'll get to it when I get to it. And it's just like, all right, cool, thanks.
It's the worst. It's the worst. And you know when they're walking up to you, that's what's about to happen. And it's
Mhm.
just like, you just have to let them get it out. And then, each DJ will give their own response.
Mhm.
Some require a tip, some just do
Mhm.
it. Some are like, no, some say not right now. But I think we don't like requests because 9 times out of 10, we were probably going to get to whatever it is that you're requesting. If
Right.
we're DJing 4 hours, it's a timeline here. You can't start off with bangers if I'm going to be here for 4 hours.
Right.
It's a buildup that has to happen. I'm not going to
Yes.
skip a chapter because you want to fast forward.
Right.
That's not how this works. And this is my job and not yours.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a DJ and control the flow somewhere, then you do that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to come up here and speed up my set because
Or
you think
stay
it's about
home
you. Yeah, like
and do your
yeah,
listen
or
to your own music
grab
with
the
your
aux
friends.
cord in your car.
Yeah.
But this is for the greater good of everyone, not
Mhm.
just you and your homegirl. So
Yeah.
or homeboys or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's an art to being able to do the build-up process without the crowd noticing.
Yeah.
That's really what you have to master, crowd control. You have to be able to make them feel like they had a good time from the beginning to the end of your set and they didn't even realize you were doing a build-up the whole time until it gets to the crunk part and they realize, oh, okay,
Yeah.
we're here. This is what he or she was leading us to. And they were having a good time the whole time, so they didn't realize it was they were going up on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
So I'm open format DJ, so I enjoy so many different types of music. I DJ everything myself.
Awesome.
So different crowds have different build-ups.
Mhm.
EDM crowds are different from us. They have a build-up every song. Every
Yeah.
song is
Yeah.
a build-up to the climax of the song.
You in Houston, you're not from Houston, correct?
No, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. How was that transition here, and how have you adapted?
Well, it wasn't. Well, I guess it was. Well, let me see. I moved here a week after I graduated high school, like threw the tassel up and was like, all right, I'm out of here. And my dad was getting back to Houston after being away for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting back right at the same time as I was graduating. So he is also from Memphis, but he loved Houston. He fell in love with it in like the 90s and stuff.
Wow.
So he came right back here. And I met him here. We'd had a great relationship, and now I was free to have my own relationship with him.
Beautiful.
So we met each other here and kind of just both restarted life, together.
Aww.
And I didn't want to give him the burden of having to take care of me after being away for so long because it wasn't fair to him. He had to rebuild his life, and I didn't want to put any pressure of a teenage child on you after, all of that. So I just wanted to take care of myself, or at least find some way to be able to take care of myself. Didn't want to be a broke college student, doing it that way because I would still be lenient on, a parent or someone.
Right.
So instead I went to the military.
Oh, wow.
I went to the Army. I was there for about 3.5, 4 years. I got out in 2016. And they asked me where did I want to be rotated back to, and they asked me Memphis or Houston, and I told them Houston.
Wow.
So, came back here in 2016, And I had already been DJing and doing little stuff with music in high school, but I just left it in high school. But when I got here, something just told me to pick it back up. And then I met this DJ named DJ FTG, and he kind of just gave me all the like tools of being an actual DJ instead of just putting together playlists and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so he kind of like turned me into a real DJ. And I noticed that, okay, I'm not from here, so how am I gonna break into this industry? I was at this spot called Therapy, just eating, and then I met Bird, and we just got to talking, and he asked me if I wanted to be a bottle girl for his promotion group, Goodfellas.
Yes.
So I started bottle girling for them for about a year and a half, and I told myself I will only do it for a year and a half just to meet people in nightlife so that I can have connects when it's time for me to come back and DJ. And I didn't have any relationships with anyone. I didn't have any problems with anyone. Everyone respected me. I respected them. I got in it with a good jacket, and I left out with a good jacket. So when it was time for me to transition to being a DJ, everyone was happy to work with me. And my plan worked. All the promoters that I had did bottle service for ended up booking me as a DJ.
Wow.
And everyone, I still have a great relationship with everyone to this day. It worked out perfectly.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Yeah. Yes. So you said you were DJing in high school. Is that where your interest peaked?
Well, I wouldn't say DJing. It was kind of like we used to have these parties in high school called twerkathons.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. And it was just like, you know, we couldn't really go to the club like that. We had teen clubs, but we like to do our own thing.
Yeah.
And so we would go and we would notice all this sausage fest music. It's just like a bunch of rowdy shoot 'em up, bang bang. And it's like, this is a twerkathon, but this is not music that girls want to like really dance to. This is for y'all. Like, what are we really doing here? So I started just suggesting songs for them to put in the rotation, or just stuff to make it more party like, instead of just we're coming in here to just nook if you book. Like, I don't want to nook if you book all
the entire
night.
time. Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and then I just started making, you remember LimeWire? I started making little CDs, and then I started putting the songs that I felt like were really hot at the time, and then I started putting them in an order where I feel like they would like transition into each other well. Mm-hmm. And then I started selling them at school for like $5.
Oh my gosh.
And so yeah, later, once I got in the military, that's when I started realizing that I was basically DJing. I just wasn't using, equipment. I'm, and people kept coming to me, what's new this week? What's new this week? And it was just like, okay, I don't know what this is, but people like it, and I just moved on with my life. Yeah. But I later found out it was like the early stages of knowing that I liked music and putting songs together.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, this is not on my questions, but you spoke about your relationship with your dad, and you said he was away. If you're comfortable speaking about it, yeah, okay. Yeah. I want to hear, because I think I might have another question after that.
Yeah, my dad was in prison for about 17 years. Okay. But I thought it was important to meet him here because I respect my dad so much. Like, even you hear a lot of horror stories about how when people's parents, have to go away, and the person behind bars just forget that they're a parent, even though, there's stuff you can do to still be there. My dad never for a moment made us feel like he wasn't there. I played volleyball in high school. He paid for volleyball uniforms. Wow. He got me Christmas gifts. He wrote to me. We saw him as a family. We would take trips to Beaumont. He was here.
Okay.
We would take road trips to see him. He was supportive. It was like he was there, just not physically all the time. Yeah. So I respected him because I knew a lot of people who had parents in that situation that wouldn't have done that. And he had dated, women over the years that had children that were really young, and their dads weren't there. So they kind of latched on to my dad. So he ended up like becoming like this surrogate parent to so many different children. And now I have so many siblings because my dad is just this super like caring guy. Everyone wants my dad to be their dad.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so he's dope. He's come out, and I'm so proud of him. He owns a gym now.
Oh my
He
goodness!
owns his own
Wow.
gym. He
Here in
has
Houston?
Yeah,
Okay, well
here
we're
in
gonna have to
Houston.
put give us details about the gym.
Yes, it's called Core Tech Gym. Him and Lennox, they're partners. They own the gym together. They have a very diverse clientele, a very big clientele. I think they're actually expanding. They've already expanded
Wow.
once. They're about to expand again. And I'm just so proud of him. Like
Yeah.
he's come out and become the person that I always knew that he was. So
So that is beautiful and I love
yeah.
that. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I think as you become an adult, and especially if you have a parent that's in that situation, you start to realize the way this world is, it's not the hardest thing to end up behind those bars, man. You
Mhm.
don't have to be a bad person to end up behind there.
Right.
It's so many things that people do every day that they just don't get caught for. And sometimes, the odds are just stacked up against you and it happens, but it's not always the best thing to judge a parent because
Yeah.
they ended up there.
Yeah.
Like, look, you're an adult now. You see people have gone to jail for stupider reasons.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pass judgment once you become an adult and you see
Yeah.
what it's like,
No, for
especially if you have a
sure.
family. You don't know what
Yes.
you're liable to do when you have so many mouths to feed. So
And then I think it all comes back to like addiction and mental illnesses and just like a lot of things that they didn't have like either the resources to or the awareness of
yeah.
like now that it's so like so mainstream now, like mental health and
Yeah, it wasn't talked about like this years
right.
ago.
Right.
Like, this is still fairly new.
Right.
There's still a lot of like people in our parents' generation that are still holding on to a lot of trauma because even though it's become popular now, they're still set in their ways to just deal with it how they deal with
Yeah.
it. But I'm glad to see that it is being talked about now because hopefully this generation won't be passing that on. So.
Yes. Shifting topics.
Okay.
Have you had the opportunity to DJ at any like community events? If so, like which ones have you enjoyed?
I'm trying to think. What do you mean by community
Just
events?
anything that's been going on in the community. I'm asking because I
Oh,
seen that you went to the sneaker one, the hoops or something like that. That's considered a community event. I feel like,
okay.
but yeah,
Well, yeah, I've DJ'd some Her Grill events, but I think the latest like community event that I did that I was super like passionate about or just like really happy to do, it's this organization called Project Row Houses
okay,
in Third Ward,
okay,
and they have these historical houses that they let different artists, design each one in their design, and each house had like its own backstory, and the neighborhood itself, Third Ward, has its
yeah,
own backstory, and Project Row Houses has its own backstory, and it was just so much historical things happening around me, and I was having such a great time. And I had done research on Third Ward, like finally after being here for so long, I just wanted to know what was his history behind Third
yeah,
Ward. So I finally started looking it up, like watching, documentaries and just seeing, how much of slavery is still connected to Third Ward. And it made DJing that community event like hit so much harder because
yeah,
I think if had I just gone there and just thinking, oh, something for the people, it would have just been in and out. But having done my research
wow,
before actually doing that, and before I even knew I was DJing that,
oh
I did
wow,
that research.
okay,
So I was happy to go and see. Well, I mean, I go to Third Ward all the time, but the spot doesn't count
yeah,
as the Third Ward I'm talking about.
yeah,
But to like see the impact and go to a lot of these houses that used to be slave houses and see
wow,
that it's still right here. Like,
mm.
we don't have to go to a museum. It's
Right,
still a whole neighborhood right here
wow,
that's kind of like left like it was back then.
mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't think something like that is going to be there for long. I think we take it for granted. I think a lot of people take Third Ward for granted. But that's the last one that I did that really stuck with me. And the artists were great. The houses looked awesome. DJ Elevated, he invited me, and DJ Anarchy works with Project Row Houses to help, make and renovate, the houses. So shout out to them,
Wow.
Soul Control.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. I didn't know that that a lot of the things that you mentioned was even a thing
Yeah, a lot of
there.
those old houses you see, it's not just, just dilapidated, junk. That is like a historical
Mhm.
landmark.
Yeah.
Like, if you had an exact picture of that same street with those houses 100 years ago, you'd see the actual slave family standing in front of it. That's how
Wow.
historical it is. I think that's why Megan continuing her education with TSU was like super impressive to me, because I'm
Yeah.
like, thank you for like staying where you were, and like, keeping that TSU spirit, and helping
Yes.
keeping, third ward alive.
And I
So I
think
thought it was
that
cool.
also exposed brought more exposure to like HBCUs.
Yeah.
Because I know HBCUs are like a thing now, you know. I was blessed enough to go to two HBCUs prior to being at Texas Southern. I was at Texas College. It's in East
Hmm.
Texas, and there's a lot of history out there in East Texas when it comes to HBCUs. And yeah, my experience was great, and I love, love, love that now there's a lot of kids that want to start going to HBCUs, you know.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is I ended up at HBCU without even knowing what HBCUs were.
Oh,
I
really?
got a scholar. Well, my sorry, my friend, my best, we went to high school, college, and we're still together now. But she got a scholarship there, and they were just my friend group at the time was just like, what are we gonna stay home for? Like, let's go. Like, let's get out of here. And I'm just like, y'all right. So we all left, and I got two scholarships there. Well, actually, like three scholarships there. So I had like pretty much like a full ride.
What?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Um, joined Zeta, didn't finish, came to TSU, but I was actually broken between TSU and and U of H.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, like I wanna go to an HBCU. So yeah.
Yeah. I have always felt so bad about that. But see, the
It's
thing
okay.
is, when you get out, and you know how veterans can use the GI Bill to
Mm.
go to college, right? So they also pay you monthly. They pay your tuition, and they pay you monthly just to show up to school. And so you get offered different amounts based on the school that you
Okay.
attend. And so for TSU, it was like a way lower amount than what they'd give me to go to
U of
UH. And I was
H.
like,
Yeah.
Cougars, go Cougs.
Goku.
But then, as I started doing my research, I was like, dang, I feel like a shithead. But
It's
but I
okay.
didn't finish at UH, and I said, because I was going for communications and digital media, and by that point I had already DJ on the radio so many times, and had been actively working in what I was going to school for, and it
Yeah.
was taking away time from doing that.
Right,
So
right.
I dropped that, but I told myself, when I go back, I'm gonna go back with a HBU.
HBCU. When have you had to take a time to just like sit back and soak it all in and be like, wow, like because I've done this, it's gotten me here.
I think before, at first, it was when I started DJing in New York. Um, my first ever gig out there, I was like, how in the world did I get? I'm like, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Like, what am I doing in New York City DJing? Like, who do I think I am? Like,
Yeah.
it was so many moments where I'm like, dude, you should just go home. What are you doing? What are
Aw.
you doing? And when I got up there and I was DJing and I was having a good time, and New York is one of those cities where, for creatives, it's like the mecca,
Mhm.
especially for music. So to go down there and do what I love doing, in like the birthplace of hip hop, it was like,
Wow.
how did I get here?
Right.
Like, I'm not the biggest, of course, but how did I even be able to get to this point where this is something that I can do? I just, even to this day, New York really embraced me, and I still like am so shocked
Mhm.
at this point. And it's been so many trips, but I just can't believe that a place that seemed like Wizard of Oz land, seemed
Oh
like
wow.
Oz to me. Now it's kind of like a regular place for me now, and it's like, how did this
Yeah.
become a thing for me?
That's so dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard from like other creatives where it's like your passions, your purpose, like your gifts are gonna get you to places that you would never even expect to be at. So I always love seeing that. I've also seen that you've DJ'd in LA or somewhere in California.
Oh yeah, I've DJed in LA a few times. Yeah.
Okay. So you travel when you DJ. What's been like the best place that you've been to um so far?
Well, I went on a solo trip to Tulum about a year or so ago,
Mhm.
and I took my laptop just because, I usually just take it just to download music or whatever I might need it for. But I actually went to a club down there and I DJ'd because I told them I was a
Wow.
DJ and they were like, "You want to DJ here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow night." And
Oh my gosh.
he's like, okay, and he walked me through the equipment that they had and I was like, "All right, bet I'll be back tomorrow." And
Wow.
that was pretty cool. That was just like some spontaneous type
Yeah.
stuff. But the thing is, because of that, I really want to travel more than I want to be stationary. I'm actually working on that plan right now. I'm trying to come up with a way for me to be able to have my regular DJ schedule, but not in just one place. I really want to just like be on the move, not really like live anywhere,
Yeah.
just go wherever I feel like it and just DJ and live life.
How is it solo traveling as a woman? Because um, I'd be so scared.
You know what? Everybody says that. You have no clue the amount of DMs I get when people find out I'm on another soldier. Be careful.
Yeah.
Like, you think I don't, as much as I watch Dateline and First 48 and all that, you think I'm not like
Yeah.
putting several chairs underneath the door? Like,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I love it also because it lets me know that, I have people that are going to be looking for me if
Yes.
anything
Like,
happens.
please share
So,
your location with your closest people.
yeah, just to know that you have people that care. So
Yeah.
you never really feel alone because with me, I share location with all of my essential family members
Mhm.
the whole time that I'm gone. So they'll keep track of every movement. And the
Yeah.
way my family is set up, if they talk to me and I'm in a place that I didn't tell them I would be, they will call me and annoy me until I give them an explanation. So
Yeah.
I'm by myself, but I don't really feel by myself because I know they're watching me.
Yeah.
But you have to do your research about where you're going. You
Mhm.
have to put safety before fun a
Right.
lot of the time. If you're going to be by yourself, you have to keep your head on a swivel. You have to look over every shoulder all the time. You have to be mindful of the things you say and do. Don't
Yeah.
tell people you're there by yourself. Um, be mindful of where you book your travel and what part of town that you're in. You have to look up what the security is like in that area. It's a lot of research that
Yeah.
goes into traveling alone as a woman. Yeah, and I don't like having to compromise with other people's wants. It's like I paid
Right.
money to come here. So now I have to like wake up when you want to wake up or go to sleep when you're ready to go to sleep. Only you want to go to this restaurant, I don't. I want to go to the beach, you don't like the same. I paid
Yeah.
money to be here. I'm not going to be compromising my whole
Right.
trip.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I'd rather, just control everything. So I go
Yeah.
by myself. And I always meet people. I make friends. I've
Yes.
made so many friends from different countries just
Mhm.
traveling. Like, I have friends in London and Rome now that I've met just being in other places, and we keep contact and we meet each other in other countries. So
Yeah.
it's been great. It's been
That's
great.
beautiful. That's one thing I really enjoy about traveling is making new friends and like meeting
Yeah.
new people. And if you ever go back, or like even when they come to Texas, like me and like I'll host
Mm-hmm.
them or like
Yeah.
I'll show them around or if they need anything.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they think Texas is like we're all one thing.
Oh,
They're like
no.
I had a friend come from New York and he was at South by Southwest. We had met him in Miami and he was coming down. He's like, yeah, like I'm gonna be in Texas. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like what part of Texas? He's like, Austin. And I was like, okay. He's like, how far is that from you? 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
But we still went out and met him and had like a good time with him here.
I really am a Houston girl though. Like
Yeah.
I don't really I of course I go to Austin, South by time of year. Dallas, if I'm going there, it has to be for a specific reason. But
Nobody really just goes to Dallas.
I usually just sorry, Dallas. But I shout out to Jiggy Jane. But no, I usually just stay in my part
Yeah.
of Texas. I like Houston. Houston is my favorite part of
Yeah.
Texas,
Yeah.
like genuinely. So,
And not even because I was raised here. Like I am a Houston girl to the T. Like I
I'm a transplant, but I love it. I feel like Houstonian.
yeah.
I'm like half Memphian, half
Well, you've been here
Houstonian.
long enough to claim it. I feel like you see a lot of people are moving out here too. How do
And I
you?
used to live here as a little girl too.
Oh, okay.
My mom and dad tried to do like the little family thing here for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
things happen.
Memphis. I've never been to Memphis. Do you go back often to visit, or is it just like a you're set here, like you're good where you're at now?
I mean, of course, I have a lot of family still at home. So we usually holiday time get together as a family in Memphis. So it's like no question. When the holidays come up, everyone knows it's time to get your ticket to go back
Yeah.
home.
Okay.
So I go there quite often. My dad is always at home. Well, actually, no, I don't go quite often. I go for holidays.
Yeah.
And like if something, a special event is happening with my family members or something that I feel like I need to be there for. Like,
Right.
but other than that, no, not really. No.
Okay. Is it more like late? Is it because it's more laid back or
It's
it's
the
just?
opposite of laid back.
Oh,
Like
really?
it's just I love my city. We just have a lot of stuff to figure out. Like
Okay.
when it comes to safety and
Mm.
just getting a handle on crime. It's a
Okay.
great city. That's not what my city is only about. Like
Yeah.
Memphis is awesome. And I definitely want to encourage people to go to Memphis
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a terrible place at all. It just has its things that needs to be corrected just like any other city.
Yeah.
It just can get out of hand at times. And I think lately it's just been, levels have been high.
Mm-hmm.
So I have just stayed where I'm at. But I do love home.
Yeah.
I go home the second I do get a chance. And yeah, Memphis is great. I love where I'm from.
Okay. Well, I need to visit Memphis. I've just never been to Tennessee. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
But Memphis this is our thing though. Like
I gotta go with somebody
Memphis
that.
is not we're in Tennessee, but Memphis is like its own thing.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Nashville, Chattanooga, all those places. Like, yeah, that's Tennessee, but Memphis
You
is
have like
like
y'all's own culture and y'all's own thing
we're
going
our
on.
own thing. We're our own thing.
That's awesome. So in your journey, name, we have highs and we have lows. Name a pivotal moment that you felt like happened and that change was needed. It doesn't have to be with your career. It could be in life or it can be with your career. It could be either or.
I'll just keep it to my career.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Oh, well, I used to DJ for an artist, and I'm a very how do we put it, alpha female.
Okay.
I am very much in charge of my own life, and I
Mhm.
make my own decisions for what I do.
As you should.
And
Yes.
I chose the career field that I chose because it allows me to have the control I need to have over my own life.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to working with people in this industry at all. But no matter what I'm doing, I'll always keep one eye on my own brand and my own business.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much I am doing for someone else. My personal legacy matters more. So whenever I do work with the artist, I keep that in mind. It's them, but it's also me that I need to be focused on. And in this particular situation, and in this industry in general, a lot of artists want your life to be about them once you become a part of their team, regardless of whatever your position is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And because you're there to support their artists, you want to support them in however you can because that's what the team member does, but not to the point where you're neglecting anything for yourself.
Right.
And it just got to a point where it felt like that artist was wanting me to put more into them than me. And so it just came to a point where it ended. But there was like a really important milestone that was like coming up that I was anticipating, and it ended right before that.
Okay.
And it was actually Rolling Loud. I wanted to DJ it
Wow.
like so bad, and me and the artist kind of split up right beforehand, and they took another DJ from the city, and it was a really terrible time for me. Like I was so depressed. I felt like because I'm so independent, I messed up, I messed up an opportunity trying to put myself first. I was like more so blaming myself for
Yeah.
just doing a decision that I thought at the time was the best decision. And it
And it
was.
was, right.
It just was seeing how I missed out on an opportunity. It temporarily made me feel like I didn't make the right decision.
Okay.
But I went to therapy, and I just talked out how I felt, and I just got to a point where I just got comfortable with me and my career, and just said, stuff will happen for me as it's supposed to. And instead of looking at that as a L or regretting a decision that I should have made, maybe, just wait for the opportunity where it can come back around in a different way. So,
Yeah. Speaking on therapy as well. So you're in therapy still?
oh yeah. Yeah, my cancer behind needs therapy. Like, people have emotions. Cancers are like times 50,000. Like, we feel all of them. We're going to express most of them.
Good.
And depending on how we feel, we don't care about the reaction. Whether it's negative or good, I said what I said.
Right.
And to minimize that, messing up my career, I just try and go to therapy so that I can talk it out versus, outbursts that could affect, my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I love that you're in therapy.
Mhm.
I've spoken before on how when we think of therapy, we think of like sitting down and having a talk to a person one on one. Besides, speaking to your therapist, what are other things that you do that are like very therapeutic for you?
Probably would have to be off days. Like,
Mhm.
recently it's gotten to a point, and I'm so grateful and thankful
Mhm.
and blessed to, be hit up often about working. But um lack of me time was starting to affect my career and mental health, on top of dealing with the emotions that I'm juggling. And cancers also tend on to take on emotions of the people that are close to them, and they
Mm.
they worry about other people's problems. And
Yeah.
so I had a lot of that going on. So um on my I started taking my off days back, and Mondays and Tuesdays are strictly just for me. And on those days I usually, meditate. I do like to meditate.
Wow.
I just started yoga. I like to mountain bike. I just bought a new bike, so I go
Nice.
out on trails. Um Even if it's a walking one, I'll go. Sometimes I'll drive to another part of Texas just to go on a few
Yeah.
trails.
Austin has really nice trails.
Yeah, they do. They really
Mhm.
do, actually.
Yeah.
I think the military brought out like my name. I already grew up in the country, but the military let me know I could survive out in nature. So I'm
Wow.
not as scared of it as
Mhm.
when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm out there all day with my backpack and my snacks, and
Oh.
just biking. And sometimes it involves just making a playlist, or just lighting candles and just putting on some sound bowls.
Okay, so another question that I had for you is being that Houston is like so fast paced, like there's always like Houston doesn't sleep, there's always something to do in Houston. Um how do you stay focused?
I never wasn't focused, only
Okay.
because that stuff isn't a distraction for
Awesome.
me.
Yeah.
It's not. I've never frequented any of the clubs that I worked with. So being there never really excited me. I was
Okay.
just curious about how much I would make at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And that's that. Like, I hate to make it sound like that, because I work in clubs and I love the clubs that I work for.
Yeah.
But they know me. They know that I get there right before my set, and I leave the second I close my laptop. They know
Okay.
that's not my natural
Yeah.
environment. For some reason, I know how to come in there and do what I need to do and get the job done like I love it there.
Yeah.
But on the inside, of course,
Yeah.
nah. Like, no.
But I
So,
think that's really important to hear because I don't really hear that often. I feel like I don't know, maybe certain things about your career and DJing can excite certain people that are interested in doing it and they probably could get caught up in that lifestyle, you know?
oh, a lot do. And it's not, it's most DJs love the social aspect of
Mhm.
being a DJ. Like, they like the parties,
Yeah.
and being able to get into places because of, they DJ, and they like the social stuff that comes with it. And I mean, if it's cool if I have a friend in town and they want to go to a club that I DJ at,
Mhm.
then it's cool to be able to, like, get us in or whatever,
Yeah.
but um it's just never been my thing. I've
Yeah.
always been a homebody, and I don't just throw that word around. It's really how I live my life. And I used to be very insecure about it. I used to be like, man,
Mm.
my career is going to suffer. DJs are getting further than me because they're out here every weekend, and
Mm.
they're in these people's faces and they're getting the gigs. And I used to feel like, why can't I get it together and be out later than 10 on a non-work night, or just go
Yeah.
socialize? I just I get really bad social anxiety. I don't like big crowds, especially crowds I'm not comfortable in.
Yeah.
And they're like, "How are you a DJ?" DJ, it's a booth. I have my
Yeah.
own square. None of
Yeah.
you guys are near me. So
Yeah.
I'm not bothered. I'm up there with me and my music and equipment. It's not until I have to climb down from the booth that I'm starting to get
Mm.
annoyed. So I'm separated from y'all. So I
Yeah.
don't feel it until I'm done.
Yeah.
But um I don't know. And I'm not like a hermit crab either. Like, I go out and do stuff, but it either needs to be connected or related to me making a connection with someone, or genuine fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something that I find fun for me to really be
Right.
enthusiastic about it. And it's not going to be a club.
Yeah, because I mean that's what you're at all the time, anyways. But I feel like that sets you apart as a DJ, really, and that's inspiring for any young girl that probably isn't as social or has
But
social
that's for
anxiety.
me. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
the social thing works for
yeah.
people. It
But
helps a lot of
yeah,
people.
I feel like that's a given, though. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably what people would expect from a DJ. Is like, oh, they are social and they're talking to everybody, and then. But I feel like that's what kind of like sets you apart. Where you, yes, that's your career, but you also have a life outside of your career, and then it's more soft. It's a softer life than
Oh
a
yeah,
fast-paced
I'm
life.
pro soft life. I thought
Yay.
and like I said earlier, I thought it was gonna hinder me, but lately I've heard from a lot of DJs that like they hear of me work wise, but they never see me, and they
Mm.
like, "You're the DJ, but we never see you." And then I'm like, "Is that a bad thing?" They're like, "No, because we're always excited when we finally do see you." So
Uh-huh.
it's like, you know what? I guess the mysterious thing just
You're like the her of
accidentally
DJs.
works. You think? Nah.
A little bit. You give me, yeah, her type. She's very laid back. Being that you're so influential, who have been some of the people that have influenced you?
I had no clue I was so influential.
I feel like you are. And then one thing that I really like too is that you don't just share like I really appreciate when you share your transparency posts and showing more than just like the DJ part. I think that's what I really like about you.
I hate it.
Why?
I hate it. And I only
Because it's like,
started doing that because I'm not social. And it's
mhm,
like, well, I don't want them to think I'm like a DJ robot. So,
mhm,
I'll try and say little stuff, small stuff about my life that I don't mind sharing,
yeah.
but I'm very private. So I'll just share little stuff that I'm like, okay, I don't mind putting that little nugget of whatever out there. But I hate sharing anything about me with social media.
Oh, well, we love it. I love it. Because I mean, I just feel like I would want to know more than just like, okay, yeah, I know you DJ, and then I've personally got to like see you in your elements and just get
Mhm.
your energy and your vibe, and I love
Thanks, man.
it. But yeah, who've been like some influential people for
Oh
you?
yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm a history girl. A lot of times when I am home, I watch documentaries and biographies. I'm a
Yes.
history channel. I pay a subscription every month to the History
Oh
Channel just to
wow.
receive like little biographies on people. Like, I'm into space and just I'm into like a lot of like other stuff that people probably would not even assume I'm even close to knowing about.
Mm-hmm.
So that just means that the people that inspire me are like all over the place.
Okay.
Some are music related, some are history related.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people, it may be from the past, like past that have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with music, but maybe their tenacity is what
Mm-hmm.
helps me to get through what I do today. But I guess I'll keep it to music. So the music inspirations that I have, or industry inspirations, of course, is Rihanna. I love Rihanna.
Okay. Savage Fenty, sponsor her,
I
please.
love Rihanna. I'm a Tupac girl. Like that was my first ever person that really like inspired me so much and still do to this day. But as far as like new age women,
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna definitely. So Tupac is a big favorite of mine. He's always inspired me in using his voice to speak up for stuff. And I just
Yeah.
always felt like that was the coolest thing ever. Um, you know, the original DJs, Cool Herc, you know, Grandmaster Flash. I look up to them. They created how I make my living today. So
Wow.
they inspire me so much. DJ Clark Kent. I actually just got a chance to meet him virtually, which was really dope.
Wow.
Um, so many. Andre 3000. I love his how he thinks and his take on the industry. It's so many people.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. But I can say the people that I do think about that inspire me, they have a specific reason as to why I choose them.
Okay.
So, thank you.
We're gonna move on to your Twitch channel. So tell us a little bit more about that.
It's actually still in the works. So, First Squeezed is a platform, a radio platform that I'm creating right now.
Awesome.
And the Twitch stream is going to be used primarily for Fresh Squeeze, not really for myself. I'll be DJing on it, but it won't be named DJ Savage. I'm
Okay.
trying to create a separate
Yeah.
brand.
And give it like its own identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And the Twitch stream is just the way to keep it active because I know me, there's so many parties that happen, you know, across the country or out of the country that I want to attend as a DJ to just go and hear, you know, different DJs. Cause I don't like going out, but when I do, it's to hear, I want to hear, you know, DJs. So a lot of times you can't be there, and that's the problem I've been having. I can't be in every state every time I see my favorite DJs are getting together. So I'm like, how can I bring what I'm doing to people who might not be near me or
Right.
near Fresh Squeeze? And so I just want it to be accessible to as many people as possible. Of course, bring in revenue because we about that cash.
Yes, of course.
We about that cash.
To the bag.
And you know, just create. And remember I was telling you earlier, I want to travel and I really just want to be in the wind. I don't even want an
Yeah.
address. I just want to just be out free DJing, living my life. And we all know because of pandemic, doing things virtually allows you to be able to like go and do your thing and not be chained to one place.
Right.
Luckily my career is not something I have to be in one place to do. So I want my business to be just as mobile as I am. So I'm just trying to create that where it can stand on its own.
Yeah, and it be accessible to everybody.
Yeah. And I can do it from anywhere. I could be in another state and still get Fresh Squeezed, you
Yeah.
know. So I like that. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. Is there anything else to come or that you're looking forward to? Besides the biggest one that's to come, which is Fresh Squeeze?
Yeah. I'm trying. Well, I have so many projects that I'm working on, and some that are like non DJ or music related. That should be coming really soon as well. A few businesses that I'm trying to start, but I have so many ambitions right now that I'm having to like rein them in and work on one at a time.
Yeah.
And right now the DJing is DJing.
Yeah.
And it's taking up a lot of time for me from being able to cultivate the other stuff. But every little moment I get from DJing, I put into my other stuff. So it should be coming up gradually over the next year or so, the other projects that I'm working on. And I'm looking for teams for my stuff. So, and I've been finding a lot of people that have been wanting to work with me. And so adding more people to the equation has been helping me to get my projects done a lot faster. So they'll be coming out a lot sooner than later, especially merch. Because a lot of people ask me about merch.
Yes.
I've never been a merch person, but I get asked about it so much. Even prospect management kept asking me why I wasn't, you know, having it available. So I was like, all right, I'll do.
You got to give the people what they want.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put something out. But even though I have this little attitude about it, it's gonna be great. I'm still gonna I put 100% into everything, even if I don't feel like doing it. So it's gonna be great.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting me some DJ Savage merch. It was funny because when I went to the concert, I was telling a friend and they were like, don't start fangirling. And then after the show, I sent him a picture of like me and you, and I was like, "This is who I'm fangirling over." And they're like, "Oh
And he
yeah,
did
yeah."
a great job, and I thank him for that. That was a really dope experience for me.
Look, I am so proud of him.
Yeah,
Like
he did his thing,
he's doing
man.
his thing, and then the idea, even him having that many artists under him, and him just
Yes, and the
he
crowd he has built up. I don't know how or when or where. I mean, he's great, so
yeah.
it definitely explains itself. But I don't see that often. Artists building their own homegrown
Mm-hmm.
fan base like that
Yeah.
that are so supportive. The merch line, the line,
Everything.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
When they hit me, I knew he was a great artist and it would be a great turnout.
Yeah.
But just seeing how hard they
Yeah.
were, it's like
Yeah.
I'm proud of this kid.
Yes. And Kizzy's, I think she's like she's the female artist.
Yeah, she was
Oh
great.
my gosh, she
I'm
was
so glad they
amazing.
inserted a little female energy in there
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, it's feeling a little sausage festy.
We going back to what
And she had the soulful vibe. I was like, thank you for not
Yes.
coming up here and grabbing your crotch and
Yeah.
gyrating.
And twerking
I
everywhere.
appreciate this energy, girl.
Yes, she was amazing. I went up to her after the show and I was like, because my best friend had been telling me, he's like, you have to listen to the girl artist. Like, she's so dope. It's just giving me very like soulful, like Erica Badu.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
she has
oh
a
my
nice
gosh.
voice.
Yeah, she did. He's doing his thing. So proud of him. I know he's gonna do so well. I told him, I was like, DJ Savage is gonna be on my podcast next week. And he was like, oh really? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a lot of times because artists come up to DJs all the time, and it's not a lot of time you see the future and what they're doing. Unfortunately, I'm sorry,
But it's the truth.
but
though.
yeah,
It's the truth.
and that just depends on how hard you're going for yourself. If I don't
Yeah.
see you putting that into yourself, then I really don't see how much of a future you have.
Yeah.
But Aaron, man, he has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
He's gonna go far.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to a segment in the show where it's called Leave a Message After the Beep. So what we did, we're gonna play you a clip from our previous guest that left you a message, an
What?
inspirational message.
Okay.
And then
For me or just in general?
for you.
Okay.
So that's the thing. We're gonna read you a question, and then you're gonna leave some advice for our next guest as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it keeps going.
Okay.
So yeah. So the guest that was here before you, she was Miss Texas Plus. So she's the plus size
Really?
Miss Texas.
Oh, that
yes.
is so cool.
Yes. Her name is Nikki.
One thing to always know is that the only person that's gonna 100% make yourself happy is you. So anything that you do in life, know that you are making not only yourself, but your inner child also. And what does your inner child want the best from you? And that's what you need to just carry on into your life. Self-love is all about healing. It's all about, loving yourself, but it's also trusting the process and knowing that anything that you put into the world and anything that you put into life is going to come back to you.
Amen.
And truly own that, because until you do that is when things are going to come your way. Right. And they're going to come to you how you want them, and 100% better.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Nikki. You in the back.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question, and then you're going to be able to leave them some advice as well. Okay. But before we do that, we have another segment in the show where we want to just show you our appreciation, and we have a surprise for you. Yes.
Oh Lord.
We have a surprise for you. No, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. So one thing, Bloom, we like to hand you your flowers. So we have some sunflowers for you.
Oh, that's why you asked me.
Yeah, that's why I asked you what was your favorite flower.
Aww,
so we got you some sunflowers.
Oh, they heavy. These are good ones.
I know. I was gonna put it in a vase. I was like, no, they look perfect like that. Like, yes. So like literally giving you your flowers because you're more than deserving of them.
Dude, this
is
so
dope.
Much
purpose.
This is
and
so
you're
dope.
out here killing it. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I gotta go get a vase. I'm taking these home right
Okay.
now. Oh
I
my
actually have a
gosh.
vase if you want one. I had it for you, but I just didn't want to put it because they're thick at the bottom and they just look so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need it because it's going straight in the. Actually, I'm gonna put them in water in my car. Ah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And a lot of people think that just going to therapy is going to fix
And it's
everything.
not.
And you still have to be willing to do a lot of self work once you leave out of that office. And you have to know who you are to a certain extent before you go in that office, because you're not there to have someone tell you who you are. You're there
Exactly.
to unpack the stuff that you know is the problem.
Right.
Or maybe being more willing to accept again once she helps you find out what the problem is.
Right.
But it's not the end all be all, go in, sit down, and you're cured. You have to still have a sense of self before you can do something like that.
Well,
Even if you don't want to involve therapy, having a sense of self is very important.
yeah, I think that's probably going to be the one thing that's sticking with me through this whole interview is that, because yeah, that's a good perspective. I love that.
That's what allows my solo trips,
Mhm.
and a lot of the time I spend by myself. I don't mind spending time with myself because I know who I am. I have a good time with myself because I don't know. I'm confident about who I am and what I represent and how to take care of myself, and I don't know. I'm cool with who I am. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
stopping by
you.
and
My
having this
flowers.
open dialogue with me. Anything else that you'd like to mention or talk about?
No, just stay tuned for more Fresh Squeeze updates and
Yes.
developments, and graphics and merch and all that will be developing over time, both for myself and Fresh Squeezed. Yeah, follow my Instagram DJ Savage 901 if you want to know where I'm spinning so that you can catch a set. Other than that, I don't know, man. Be peaceful, have a great day, and catch you on the flip side.
Yay. Alrighty, well, that wraps up the third episode of the Bloom Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.